Did you know shiny sparkles are different every time in Generation 5? Did you know Mantike has higher special defense than Chansey? Oh, you did? Good. Then I'm gonna tell you some Pokemon facts you actually don't know. Believe it or not, there is still so much about these old games we don't know. And that's exactly what I'm out to find. Welcome to the Obscure Pokemon Fact series. Most people don't know how tightly knit the items were woven into the world of old Pokemon games. For example, did you know that every single day, there's a small chance a pearl will wash up on the beach of Undella Town? There are a lot of items that Pokemon hid this way, through building of the world in old Pokemon. Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green, though, is one of the only games in the series that hid extremely rare items this way. You see, most players might not know that hidden items that you can find with the dowsing machine can respawn in very specific places, like the pearl in Undella Town we talked about before. But this is far from the only time that this happens. In Fire Red and Leaf Green, every 1500 steps you take in-game, you have a 60% chance to respawn a hidden berry in Berry Forest. And there are a lot more rare berries that can spawn here at lower percent chances. And for some of these berries that can spawn here, like the Weepier berry, it is the only way to get more than one in your playthrough. Over in Mount Moon, hidden mushrooms, big and small, will respawn at a 30% chance every 1500 steps. But only in the first basement floor of Mount Moon. This is because it is the only area in Mount Moon, and the only area in the entire game, that has a 100% encounter rate for Paris. No other Pokemon can spawn here. An incredible little detail, and the only place to respawn mushrooms in the overworld in the entire game. But if you want to find the rarest overworld item in Fire Red and Leaf Green, it is likely the Heart Scale in the Tonobi Ruins. Though it's unusable in the game, it is hidden here in the rarest spawn rate of a recurring item, at only 10% every 1500 steps. Meaning you'll likely have to take 15,000 steps, checking the ruins every single time every 1500, just to find a Heart Scale that has no use in this game. Why? We'll never know. Vending machines in Pokemon have been around for a really long time, and this is kind of known, but I wonder if some people miss this, and there's a lot more to it than you think. But there's a 1 out of 64 chance to get an extra drink for free when buying drinks from the vending machine. In Generation 5, this chance was increased to 1 out of 32, and there's also a medal for having this happen. But here's what I think even less people know. In Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, there's also a chance for an extra drink, but there's an even slimmer chance for 2. This can happen. I've never seen it. We're going to attempt to make it happen, but apparently you can get 2 free drinks. I have no idea how rare this is. It may be like 1 out of 1,000, I'm not really sure. So I'm gonna just buy a ton and see if I can get this to happen. If there's a chance of it happening, I gotta do it. So here we go. Okay, I'm 50 in, dude. I bought 50 of these things. Nothing yet. I'm gonna keep going. Alright, we got 1. Oh, yo, we got it, dude. Oh my god, yeah, 2. Let's go, it's true. Let's go, it's true, man. Myth confirmed. You might remember Voltorb Flip, our censored version of the Game Corner that we got in Heart Gold and Soul Silver. This marks the first time we got a censored Game Corner in Pokemon. But not really. You see, it was actually a lot worse for the Korean versions of Diamond and Pearl. Those were the very first games to get a censored Game Corner, while Gen 4 in the US was still fully intact. The Korean versions had the Game Corner still there in its entirety. It's just that it was super lame. The games themselves didn't work at all. You couldn't play them. Instead of being able to play the minigame, the machines would just spit out a random number of coins. And that's it. Everyone knows the Dusk Ball. Its whole purpose is to catch a Pokemon better at night or in caves. But there's two situations in Generation 5 where it doesn't quite work. At all. Whether it's a glitch or it's purposeful is unknown. There are two locations in Generation 5 only where this is the case. The first one is the Strange House, the weird haunted area in Generation 5. Dusk Balls do not work here at all. The other place is Volcarona's small room. Inside of these two areas, you don't get any boost from the Dusk Ball at all. Even though Volcarona's room is inside of a cave. But even stranger is that even if the time is night, Dusk Balls still don't get any type of boost whatsoever. It's the same as a normal Pokeball. Small glitch or an intention? You decide. So there's a very strange thing you can witness in Fire Red and Leaf Green that not many players have likely seen. Between Red and Blue and the Kanto remakes, there were a few new evolutions added to old Pokemon in the years between these games. But you actually aren't allowed to find these Pokemon in Fire Red and Leaf Green until you get the National Dex. Let me explain. Most of these new evolutions like Steelix, Politoed, Slowking, Kingdra, Scizor, introduced in Generation 2, are all trade evolutions. So we couldn't get them without trading Pokemon away with its special item, but then the game would block the Pokemon from being traded back to you if you don't have the National Pokedex. So all of those are off the list. To hide Blossom from us, they simply put the only Sunstone in the game deep into the Sevi Islands in the post-game. So scratch that one, and that leaves us with two more Pokemon left that we can find, Blissey and Crobat, which are both friendship evolutions. They hid the Soothe Bell from us extremely well, with its only spawning being underneath Mr. Fuji's feet, to be found only when using the item finder, which you likely wouldn't have found until after waking up the Snorlax with the Pokeflute, since you have to catch 30 Pokemon in order to get it, so you'd have to climb all the way back up the Pokemon Tower and use it on the exact spot he was standing, just for the Soothe Bell. But once we finally reach maximum happiness with our Pokemon, we can try and do the impossible, register a non-Kanto Pokemon in the Pokedex without the National Pokedex. Oh yeah, that's the fact, it literally won't let you. It will freaking stop the evolution. Pretty messed up, right? So, yeah. One of the most memorable Pokemon discoveries in recent years is the softlock prevention Tentacool in Cyanwood City in Heart Gold and Soul Silver. The NPC that could save your game by giving you a Tentacool, but only if you had one Pokemon. And no one knew about it for a very long time. But around that same time, another softlock prevention was found in these games that hardly anyone talks about, also discovered by Alucard. If we head over to Cinnebar Island and we heal at its Pokemon Center, marking it as our last teleport location, and then fly back to Johto and drop our Pokemon with Fly and Surf in the daycare, and simply take the magnet train back to Kanto, once we teleport, we should be effectively softlocking ourselves on Cinnebar, since there isn't any way to leave the island without Fly or Surf once you land there. And if we had no fishing rods or money to buy Pokeballs, the save file would be entirely ruined. But like Cyanwood, they thought of this, because as soon as we try to teleport to Cinnebar Island, the game completely overrides our request and sends us to Viridian City instead. Even if we do have money and a full team, the game won't let you teleport to Cinnebar at all to prevent you from getting trapped there. If we try and feint our Pokemon, there we are, Viridian City once again. Softlock prevented. Pickup is one of the craziest abilities in the history of Pokemon, but no one really knows that. You see, in every Pokemon game, Pickup is limited to usually only less than 5 Pokemon in the whole game, most of which are 2-stage evolution early game Pokemon like Sentret, Zigzagoon, and Meowth, which means most people missed out on some of the craziest rewards Pickup can give you. Today, I'm going to find probably the strangest one in Pickup history, over in Fire Red and Leaf Green. You see, in this game, Meowth is literally the only Pokemon with the Pickup ability before obtaining the National Dex, and it appears in this small patch of grass south of Cerulean City for the first time, way underleveled even compared to the gym you just beat. Meowth also loses this ability once evolving to Persian at level 28. But until then, we have a 5% chance to find the item we are looking for. Here it is. This is the TM10 for Hidden Power. Getting a TM from Pickup feels rather strange, but the crazy part is that this is the only way to get TM10 in this entire game. It spawns nowhere on the map. A Meowth with Pickup is the only way to get Hidden Power in Fire Red and Leaf Green. In Generation 2, your sprite changes to a bat if you fly with a Zubat. That's it. If you saw the Dragon Fang video, you know just how rare hidden items can be. But Generation 5 has an extremely interesting hidden item oddity that hardly anyone noticed. Ever since Pokemon were able to hold items, they were divided into 3 categories. Either the Pokemon holds the item 100% of the time, 50% of the time, or only 5% of the time. Interestingly though, Black and White introduced a 4th category that was afterwards removed. That category is 1% held items. There are only around 10 items that are held at these extremely rare rates, but all of them are extremely valuable. For example, Drifblim has a 1% chance to hold the air balloon, and only in Black and White 2. The same is the case for the Comet Shard, an item introduced in this generation that sells for a ton of Pokédollars, and can be held by Lunatone, Solrock, and Clefairy all at a 1% rate. And this is the only way to get this item in the game, besides one overworld item in the post-game. But there's another strange contingency for finding these extremely rare items. It can only be found on Pokemon when encountered in dark grass. A muck encountered in normal grass in Black and White 2 has a 50% chance to hold black sludge, but a muck encountered in dark grass has a hidden 1% chance to hold the toxic orb. Some of these items, like the toxic orb, are blocked from being obtained until the player has beaten the entire game, and can only be bought with battle points from the Pokemon World Tournament. Meaning, finding it on wild Pokemon like this is the only way to obtain these items before beating the game. One of the most interesting and obscure items like this is the Absorb Bulb. Unlike many of the other 1% items on this list, the Absorb Bulb was only available for purchase in Black and White, unobtainable any other way. The same would be true for Black and White 2, but they added the ability to find it on Wild Roselia in dark grass only at our 1 out of 100 chance. How strange for a consumable item to be made so incredibly rare
only for it to be gone in a single turn. Well, I wanted to put this to the test and see just how many encounters it takes to find one of these 1% items without any abilities like super luck or compound eyes. Because 1% items never existed after this, we have to see what it's actually like to find one.
Now's a good time to explain the real chances of this. Roselia on this route has a 25% chance of spawning, and sometimes in doubles, with a 1% chance of holding the item. This should take around 400 encounters. But you see, I'm already at 1,000. I've never seen anyone on YouTube document retrieving one of these rare items, or anyone talking about them at all. I've thiefed 104 Roselias so far. Maybe I'm just over odds, but this is pretty crazy. The only thing we can do is keep going. Bro, are you for real right now? 1,400 encounters, no absorb bulb, but now we have a shiny Roselia. Wow, dude, if that doesn't show you, man, if that doesn't show you how rare this thing is, I don't know what will. It's not holding the item, by the way. Oh my god. Yo! Bro! Oh my god, that's it. The absorb bulb. 1,724 Pokemon seen. Oh my gosh. Dude, finally. 231 Roselias thiefed. Nearly 2,000 Pokemon seen. So many poison barbs. We finally got it. 1% items, y'all. There you go. That's how rare these really were.
If you've ever looked close enough, you'll have noticed that the location of Pokemon in-game would occasionally have significance to the story. Not just overworld Pokemon like Gyarados at the Lake of Rage or Suicune in random places, but even in the grass. As you know, specific Pokemon were chosen to be in specific spots based on things like weather, time of day, habitat, biology. But sometimes it would go even deeper, like what that Pokemon is supposed to represent, either in correlation with the story of the game, or even a metaphor to the real world. And in this case, we're talking about Absol, the Pokemon that represents disasters. On Bulbapedia it says Absol lives in the mountains far from civilization, and it rarely ventures out into the world. Using its horn, Absol is able to sense even subtle changes in the sky and the land to predict when a disaster will occur, and will try to warn people when one is approaching. He is referred to by some elderly people in the Pokemon world as the bringer of doom. Rightfully so, because if you've ever noticed, Absol only appears in game right before or after a disaster. In 2002, when Absol was released, it appears on Route 120, shortly before the blue orb is stolen from Mount Pyre by Team Magma and Team Aqua, which is the first sign of the possible end of the world with the normal, harsh weather, a departure from almost everything that happens before in the game. The first time, things start to change, from a lighthearted journey into a story of finding balance in the world before it's torn apart. In addition, Absol's Pokédex entry in this game specifies that it can sense natural disasters, backing up this claim, such as those caused by Groudon and Kyogre when they're awakened by the villainous teams, which is very interesting to be stated. Absol is aware of this. It doesn't try to stop the disaster or warn anyone. It just keeps quiet. I suppose that's why everyone calls it the Bringer of Doom, which is pretty sad. Absol is cursed with the knowledge of what will come, and is only capable of warning, not stopping the inevitable future. Absol just lives with it, and hides away in sadness. In 2006, in Diamond and Pearl, Absol appears on Route 213, right next to Lake Valor, which was drained by Team Galactic, the evil force who wants to destroy the world that currently exists and create a new one. With animals killed, power and control, Team Galactic wants a new world, but not for the better, simply desiring control and power at any cost. Absol appearing here is just a reminder of what's out there. In 2008, in a spin-off game, the continuity of Absol's meaning continues. Pokemon Ranger, Shadows of Almia. I've never played this game, but upon researching I found out that Absol can be found in two places. The All-True Building and the All-True Tower, from which the antagonist of the game, Team Dim Sun, plans to take control of all Pokemon in the region. The name Dim Sun Dim Sun sounds pretty crazy. The name Dim Sun sounds pretty crazy, I can barely say it. Dimming the sun, taking the energy of the world, and that's exactly what they want to do. They want to use Pokemon as a resource for energy, for money and power, without the care of killing animals. It's a metaphor to what's already happening in the world, using living things for resources. It seems like every antagonist that was created in Pokemon games had a specific message left behind. Evil takes, and love unites. The longer Absol is researched, the meaning becomes more and more clear. Not only does it represent the Bringer of Doom, but to me, I see him as an immortalized warning, a reminder to kids that evil is bad, love is good, and a warning to those who understand the villains that are already present in this world, and how at any moment, more can conspire. In 2009 in Pokemon Platinum, Absol appears on Mount Coronet, right where you'd expect him, right on the way to the Spear Pillar, where Giratina is released by Team Galactic, and Dialga and Palkia show themselves and nearly destroy time and space itself. Thank God Absol was there, my God. In 2010 in Black and White, Absol can be found at the Giant Chasm, a place where disasters are said to befall trainers. And again on Route 13, which seems to be intentional based on the superstitious belief with the number 13 being known as unlucky. Whether you agree with that, it's no doubt Absol was placed on Route 13 following that belief. 2 years later, in Black and White 2, at the same place, the Giant Chasm, happens to be where Team Plasma makes their stand and again nearly destroys the world. Absol has been there for years, trying to warn people, and no one listened. Lastly, in 2016, in Sun and Moon, Absol can be found in Tapu Village, which is the aftermath site of a disaster that occurred years prior. Now he just sits in the grass with the memory. He stands still as a reminder of the past. Even outside of Pokemon, Absol's meaning carried over. In Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Absol can appear as a spirit, further representing his meaning as a spiritual creature in these old games, which to me could even open up theories. Did Absol really survive all of those disasters? Has it really been around the whole time? Or did it die long ago? All that's left from the destruction and the hatred. I think Absol is one of the most interesting Pokemon in the series, with its meaning going to great depths in every single iteration it appears in. With theories still lingering and more to be researched, Absol is definitely one of the most unique Pokemon and ever-living mystery. Its very creation alone invites question. There's a chance it's based off some sort of Shinto god, true history in Japan, some ancient evil spirit, but I'm not sure. I don't really know. Maybe I'll find out one day, but I kind of like it better as a mystery right now, so it's cooler that way. Back in the day in the old Pokemon games, these games were created with not just meaning, but intention. Most of the time down to extremely small details, things that were never made for making money, but for making something interesting. The developers had a passion for sharing stories with the world, with us, intentionally hidden behind the walls. And to most, these are just memories now. But there are more things to be discovered, secrets, stories, waiting to be found, that were created by someone over 20 years ago, and for only one true reason: love. Relics of the past are becoming more and more valuable these days, and Absol is just one of them.